What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Nerf Zombie Strike Quadrot. The Quadrot is a spring-powered, single-shot 4-barrel blaster in the Zombie Strike series, with a noticeably thinner profile than something like a strong arm, making it an awesome backup or sidearm. So let's get into it. Included is the blaster and 4 green Zombie Strike darts. External overview of the Quadrot, starting up with the front. This is a single-shot blaster to be clear, but there are 4 barrels at the ready, which you can front load very simply. There are a lot of really cool shell markings in the side here, but they're all cosmetic. There's nothing to manipulate or like buttons or switches here. But up on top, we have an N-Strike tactical rail, so you can mount your optic or anything else on top. To the trigger release is pretty standard. This blaster does not have slam fire. To the priming handle, it's a T-style priming handle with a horizontal bar, which you can prime pretty easily like that. The prime weight is pretty normal, and it's a pretty smooth prime. Down to the grip, it's a pretty small grip, but it's a pretty comfortable grip, even for somebody with a large hand like me. It does feel noticeably smaller than something like a strong arm or most other pistols out there, but that doesn't make it uncomfortable with how they've set the priming handle and the trigger up. It definitely feels compact, but it's not cramping and like uncomfortably small, if that makes sense. And compared to something like the strong arm, the Quadrot is very lightweight and very well balanced. It doesn't have any like front heavy flop, which is an odd thing to say because I would never say the strong arm is unbalanced or uncomfortable, but the Quadrot is better balanced and more comfortable in a weird way, but in a good way. It's comfortable, it's easy to hold, it's ergonomic. To restate usage, it's very simple. You front load 4 darts, you prime back and you pull the trigger. It's a single shot blaster firing from the top to the bottom. Let's see the firing demo. Starting with green Zombie Strike Nerf Elite darts. Now shooting green waffle head darts. Operating the Quadrot went as expected. I did not have any jams or malfunctions. To compare the performance to other blasters, I put the Quadrot up on my chronograph and achieved an average velocity of 61 feet per second with Nerf Elite darts, which is a little slower than other Elite-style pistols on the market right now, but it's not terrible performance like a Jolt. That's the objective information on the Quadrot. Now to my personal opinion. Overall, I'm very pleased with this blaster. It doesn't have overwhelming or excellent performance by any means, but I think this fills a fantastic role as a new sidearm or backup. It carries fewer darts than something like the strong arm or the hammer shot, but the side profile is significantly thinner. If you're using it as a primary, like you just buy one Nerf blaster and you use it, that side profile is really not a big deal. But if you're like me and you only use sidearms or pistols as a secondary, in addition to something like a Strife or an Alpha Trooper or a primary blaster, having a thin profile and a very light weight is a big deal when it's in a holster all day and you very rarely use it. It's lighter and a lot less bulk than the strong arm. I know a lot of people don't use the strong arm because it's just a little too big to use as a holstered pistol. Unless you really use your pistol a lot, it's nice to have a much lighter, thinner pistol that's just not as much bulk on your hip. So I'm very pleased with the release of the Quadrot. It's giving a new opportunity to people that want to carry a sidearm, but they don't just want a single shot blaster like a Sure Strike or something that traditionally has a very thin profile like this. Now you can have a 4-round capacity and you don't have to have a larger blaster in a holster all day. But to restate, if you're the type to just use one blaster and you pick this up and that's like your primary, it's not going to be better than a strong arm because the strong arm has more capacity. And that thinner profile is not that big a deal unless it's on your hip all day and you very rarely use it. So I definitely recommend checking out the Quadrot if you're a hardcore nerfer that you carry tactical gear, you typically have a sidearm on you, but you don't use it all that often. This will be a great option as that secondary pistol because it has that 4-round capacity and pretty acceptable firing performance. And bonus, it looks like the Nerf Scout, which is a super cool looking blaster. I totally dig this tactical front end. It kind of looks like a pistol with a built-in flashlight, that type of form factor, but that might just be me. I think the Quadrot looks super cool. So to buy or not to buy, if you're looking for a primary, I would recommend, primary, not a pistol, but if you're looking for a backup pistol specifically to hold in a holster or a pocket, this is a great option and I definitely recommend checking it out. If you're interested in purchasing a Quadrot, I'll put a buy link in the description box below. That's it for this video review. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, bros, stay tactical.